Young Shorty Doowop. Welcome.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate you for reaching out
Welcome
and
to
having
the
me on there.
Pachyderm Podcast. Tell my folks a little bit about yourself.
All right. Well, my name is Young Shorty Doowop. I am from Berkeley, California. I do music. I'm an actor. I'm an entrepreneur. I got my clothing line, Future Millionaires Club. I'm just, a jack of all trades. To be honest, I just try to get my hands on everything that I want to explore because I love creating. Mm-hmm. So, I'll paint my shoes. I'll do all kinds of bleach clothes and sell them. Like I just like to be different and be creative. So right now, I'm doing my music still. I got a lot of things going on with that as far as placements go. I just got another placement for a record that I haven't even released yet. It's just like a record that's going to be on my project, but I ain't put it out yet. I'm working with Young Amaze artist Max YB. He's from New Jersey. So we got a record that's out right now that I'm pushing. I got some visuals lined up for the project. It'll be dropping in February 2022. I'm in a movie right now with Hannibal, the comedian, and a lot of other stars. We film in January. So that movie will be on Netflix. I can't really say the title and all that stuff yet, but we've been doing our table reads for months now. Every Sunday we have table reads. In the clothing line, I'm taking to another level as well. It's gonna be more so not just clothing, but it's also I do motivational speaking. Sometimes people have me for speaking engagements or just me doing quotes on Twitter and inspiring the world. But I'm taking Future Millionaires Club to a different level because I know there's things that we weren't taught as kids in school that we should have known. Like we had to just figure out as we got grown, like credit. Having good credit and just know how to save your money, know how to, invest and all that type of stuff. So I want to take that to a different level next year. I'm working on that. I'm also working on a children's book. I have 2 godchildren. And I just want to be able to have something for them that they can read themselves. I just growing up as a kid, reading was like the thing to do. Everybody was reading books. Now it's like people they got the Kindle Fires or they just do audio books because they don't have time to sit down and physically read a book. But the society has changed since we were kids. Mm-hmm. It's different now. Social media is huge. Is a big influence on these kids' lives. So I want them to be reminded that it's cool to read. It's cool to be smart. It's cool to get good grades. It's cool to not be a drug dealer. It's cool not to be in the streets. Like, it's cool to not be a violent person. It's cool to go to therapy, that type of thing. So I just be trying to, change the world as much as I can.
Mm-hmm. So what I want to get into, definitely you're a jack of all trades. That's one thing I really admire about you. Your hands are in a whole lot of different things. You stay moving. Let's focus first, though, just on the music thing. You've been doing music since 2010. How did you start? What got you into doing music? Who are some of your influences?
I've been doing music since I was a kid. My auntie was the choir director at Antioch Baptist Church in West Oakland. Mm-hmm. So as a kid, I didn't even realize. I knew we were in Oakland, but I never realized we was going to West Oakland every day. I was going from prayer meeting, usher board meeting, choir rehearsal. Like I was a church kid. So that's how I got started. My influences growing up, MC Hammer, Michael Jackson, R&B records like Jodeci, then Drew Hill. And then, rap always was around because, my brother is older than me. He's like 8 years apart. So he would have stuff like Big Daddy Kane. I was introduced to the Brat and In Vogue and those type of artists as a kid. So that's pretty much my era, like 90s music, 90s rap, 90s R&B, all that vibe stuff. Like that's my era. That's where I come from. That's where I get all my roots from.
So at what point did you realize this is what I want to do? This is the music I like, but now this is what I actually want to do.
I had a couple of friends. They're in a group called RHS from Richmond. shout out to RHS. They were, rapping in the garage, and I always wrote poetry all the time. I always wrote music, and I always would remix songs in my head and sing them out loud from the radio. So I just would change the words around, but I never recorded music until I was in the garage with them. They were like in there rapping. I just did my rap, and they was like, "Oh, that's dope. That's cool." So I made that record. And then my friend Ray, he was like, "I got a little studio in Richmond. It's a little shack. I got a little studio. Come through." We was in there for hella hours, and I was sleepy, and I got up, and they woke me up and was like, "All right, Shorty, I got everything hooked up." I got up and I sang. It was my very first record, my very first single called "Get It." It was featuring Dev the Chaser. Shout out to Dev, he's from Richmond. Big Von ended up. I sent it to him. DEO, shout out to DEO. He mixed it for me, and that was the first record that I recorded by myself, and the first record that I got on the radio. So KMEL was spinning it. Shout out to Big Von, and that's pretty much how everything started. From there, I was already like, when I was 18, I used to like sneak into clubs and do like performances, but it was more so like lip singing performances. In the LGBTQ community, that's what we do. We'll perform songs that everybody knows, and not like us singing. It's not like karaoke, but we're like lip singing whatever the song it is and performing. And then by the time I turned 21, I kind of wanted to do my own thing, and so I ended up doing that. So that's how it all pretty much started, from church to me writing poetry, to me writing records, to rapping, and just ended up singing and stuff.
And you performed on the same stages with a myriad of people, like throwing out Soulja Boy, throwing out. In fact, when I first met you in person, it was at Jadakiss show over in the city.
Oh man,
you got a long list of just experiences that folks that I know that have been in the game twice as long don't have that type of resume. What do you attribute that to?
I attribute that to God. He just pretty much blessed me with those opportunities. And all I can say about that is just, if it wasn't for God, then I would have never even been able to do those things. I pretty much was a promoter. I still am, but I was a promoter for N1 Promo. And that's with John Costin. He is over that, and he's over at Empire and stuff now. So I used to walk around and pass out Ply CDs, Teacher Moses CDs. When TVT Records was big, I was passing out all their music. So it kind of stemmed with that. Even when Nicki Minaj first kind of got on the scene, when she did the little 5-star chick stuff with Yo Gotti and them, I was promoting her parties in San Jose. So it just all stemmed with that. Like, God just pretty much puts me in those positions and creates these opportunities for me. That's how I feel. And I've had a lot of opportunities, and then I've had a lot of doors shut on me. People say no, and I just never take no for an answer. Really, I just find a way to make it happen.
If I could describe you in one word, I would definitely say persistent. You always seem to be at the right place at the right time. Speaking of which, I looked the other day, there's a clip out here that's then went super viral, over 7 million views, where you with my brother Will Smith at the book signing. Again, right place. You always seem to be at the right place at the right time.
It's definitely God, because first of all, it was in LA, and it was we had to drive from the Bay. I was gonna fly with my mom, but I was like, let me just drive. She ain't had no road trip in a long time. So she was the one who was like, Will Smith is going, he got a new book. I want to get his book, and I want to see Will Smith. And I'm like, Mom, it's in LA. Like, I don't know if I'll have time. So I got the tickets and we were late. When I say we were late. Like, the show started at like 7. We got there at 8:50. Like, I didn't even have time. So she was like, let's go to the hotel. I'm like, nah, we go to the hotel. We not going to see nothing. So we literally drove straight there to the actual Dolby Theater. thank God it was parking directly across the street. Paid the parking across the street, ran up there. The people were like, "Oh yeah, well it's only like 10 minutes left, so I don't know what you're gonna do." And we were like, "We're gonna go in." He ended up talking for like 45 minutes, even though he already started at 7. You know, it was crazy. And then the actress Yvonne, who plays Molly on Insecure, was sitting behind us. Like it was crazy. So when he was talking with Ava and all that, it was crazy. It was like, it was surreal. Like, you see Will Smith from Fresh Prince, you've known him. He was the first person to get a Grammy. All that shit. It was kind of like surreal, but it happened. And I didn't even know that we ended up on the clip until somebody tagged me from high school. Somebody from high school recognized my birthmark and was like, "Hey, is this you?" And I'm like, "What?" And I looked, I was like, "Will Smith posted this?" My mom was freaking out. So we literally was 2 hours late, and the people that been there from 7 o'clock didn't even get to be on the clip. So that's why I was like, "Oh, damn, that's crazy."
So you mentioned acting as well. And really, I've watched your growth over the years. So now I'm really not surprised what I see you in. Like, I'm expecting it almost. P-Valley, 13 Reasons Why. What's some other films that you've been in, TV shows? Like I said, your resume is ill. Your resume is ill.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I play Ryan on a lesbian series called Lipstick Series. Mm-hmm. We shoot that in LA. So right now, like when the pandemic happened, we filmed, and then it was like, okay, what can we do now? Because it was like a hell of restrictions of filming. You know, the YouTube place was like not open like that. So it was just crazy. So I'm doing that. I just did a weed ad, a cannabis ad, for a cannabis company. I'm going to be on a billboard. So it's going to be in like 6 or 7 different states, not California, unfortunately, but it's going to be in 7 different states, Illinois, Maryland. It's going to be in 7 different states. It's crazy. I have to like go to the states to like get the pictures and stuff. They told me they're going to send me pictures of the billboard, but I kind of want to like take my mom and, you know, like go and take a picture with her. So just to have these like travel experiences with her, because she's 70 and I'm trying to like do everything that she wanted to do, like fly certain places, travel certain places. So I'm trying to, you know, do everything for her.
That's a perfect segue, because I also really admire the relationship you have with your mom. You involve and include her in a lot of what you do. Why is that important to you?
It's important to me because she's the only parent that I've always had. I never had a father. I have my brother with, you know, with my mom, but on my dad's side, I have 3 siblings. I have 2 other brothers and a sister that's identical to me. We're 5 years apart, but she's identical to, like, I met her at my dad's funeral, everything, like she has my freckles, everything is really weird. And so I don't have a relationship with those 3 of those siblings. Like I wish I could. I tried, but it's kind of like people, you know, some people feel like, oh, well, I'm older, you know, it's kind of too late. But I don't think that. I think like if you know, you have the opportunity, you know, make it happen. So with my mom, it's like she's always been there. She's always had my back. And, you know, she had 2 strokes. And she had been sick and everything. I had to make her retire from her job and everything when she turned 65. So it's kind of like I was supposed to move to Atlanta and do acting and stuff out there. So when I do film out there, it's just me flying out there and being out there for the time being. But I was supposed to physically live there, but I, you know, didn't want to leave my mom, and I didn't want to, you know, I wanted to make sure she was straight. So every time I have an acting gig, somebody want to book me for something like that, I'll take her with me, or I'll make sure that she's good, you know, back home, somebody taking care of her.
Mm. So something that I bring up with all my guests as well, because I'm big on as well, is mental health. In juggling all of those things, how do you practice self-care? How do you keep balance amongst dealing with your mom, dealing with deadlines, and everybody's pulling and needing you in some type of way? How do you practice self-care?
that hit home for real. Did hit home because it's like I said, I mentioned like therapy. Having therapy sessions is very therapeutic. It really helps. I have anxiety, so a lot of people don't know. I don't think nobody know, but I have anxiety, and what helped me with my anxiety was weed. Mm-hmm. So during the pandemic, it got like worse because there was so much going on, and I was able to smoke. But with certain things, I might have to take a pee test and stuff. I don't really. It's weird. Weed is legal here, but you still gotta take pee test for certain stuff. So it's kind of, So right now, it's like for my anxiety, like I try to like work out, try to meditate. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a yoga spot that I go to that I'm gonna try to start going back since everything's starting to open up and stuff. So I deal with that. I try to get massages and shit like that, like things that I know that will calm me, things that will make me happy. Cause I'm always on go. I'm always doing something. It's every day is something. I like if I even have a day where I know I can like do absolutely nothing and just rest, I still don't really do that. I might for a little bit, but not like I should. So, with mental health, I just try to take everything day to day. Pray a lot. Definitely give my problems to God and just pretty much stay focused, So that's kind of how I deal with self-care. I make sure that I do travel and I do relax and I do, pamper myself.
Mm-hmm. And I bring that up, and I'm glad that you even threw that out at the beginning of this interview about therapy, because there's such a stigma, particularly in our community, that if you even say the word mental health, you say
they think you crazy.
You just took the words right out of my mouth. I ain't crazy. It's not even about being crazy. Your mental health is just like any other aspect of health in your life, and it should be addressed. One thing I will ask though, what are some of, or if I'm not even going to assume there has been obstacles, but if there has been, what are any obstacles that you face, not only being Black, but being from the LGBTQ community? What has that been like?
It's hard. It's hard. Like, people think just because I'm a part of that community that everybody in that community is going to have my back. It's a lie. You know what I'm saying? I can't call Lil Nas X up and be like, let's get on a song. I can't hit up Todrick. I can't hit up JoJo Siwa. It's not like that. Like, it's kind of like the music industry is weird within itself. Yes. So I'm in the music industry, I'm in the actor industry, all that shit weird. And it's like, you really can't really have no friends in this game. Like, you're going to meet a few gems. I'm not going to lie. It's going to be a few people where you're like, oh my God, they're so genuine. They're dope. It's a few gems in this industry that I'll really fuck with. Like, outside of music, shout out to my sis Jane Hancock, because I fucks with her the long way. But it's a lot of people like, I damn near be like, everybody else be, it just be weird. So I kind of just, I keep to myself. I'm more so like an introvert, extrovert. So when you don't see me out and about at the clubs and all that stuff, I'll be at home. Like, I'll be chilling. I'll be watching Law and Order SVU. Like, I'm to myself, really. I'm a homebody, so to speak. Before the quarantine, all that shit, I always like to be at home. I'll be at the club, be like, okay, I'm ready to go. Like, that's just me. But the profession that I'm in, I have to be sociable. I have to be in certain places at certain times. I have to engage in conversations, but sometimes I just want to just chill and just, go home.
So have you noticed more of an acceptance in terms of the industry over the years, or is that just kind of on surface? It seems like that, but you being in it, it's not necessarily so.
It's some acceptance. Some people don't give a fuck. Some people do. I've had directors be like, all right, I don't want to put you in this play, but we got to glam you up hella much. We got to do this and do that. And I just be like, man, it comes with the job as an actor. So I understand that aspect of it. But with music, it's like, the dudes wear whatever. You know,
Right.
you got Young Thug out here wearing dresses and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like Prince used to have a booty out. You know what I'm saying? Like Hammer had his big ass parachute pants. Like the dudes wear whatever the fuck they want to wear. Some of them look homeless. Some of them look, you know, it's only a few people I could say, I could probably count on one hand how many clean cut, fresh dudes you see that dress up, you know, dress nice. Like it's a award show, they in a suit. You know what I'm saying? Half of these dudes you go to a award show, they in jerseys. You like, what?
They in costume, basically.
Why you didn't dress up for this? This is the Grammys, and you in here wearing a white tee. Like, no, like, you know, people like, that's just not me. It's like, okay, but when are you gonna grow up? Type of thing. So I feel like I shouldn't have to be, you know, I shouldn't have to wear whatever I don't want to wear. You know, I shouldn't have to look a certain way if everybody else do whatever they want to do. So it's kind of like it's hard being black. Period. It's hard being a black woman. Period. Because a black woman is the most hated person in the world.
He's protected. Then
you add gay on that, so I got three wrong things going on already. So you know it's gonna be tough. You know, and even with female DJs, it's like there's female DJs that are not from my city that fuck with me, and then there's some that just they're so used to getting money from rappers that were drug dealers or living that fast life or whatever. So you come to an average person like me, that's not my life. That's not a life I've ever lived. So I don't have 10 bands in my pocket just to be like, hey, spend my shit. So they looking at the regular people like, I'm not finna just give you a chance. These fools pay me. You got to pay too. So it's, you know, that payola shit is real. People be thinking it's a joke, but
that is not a 70s thing. It is definitely still in effect.
It's real to this day. Like whether it's an online radio station, you feel me, a regular radio station, it don't matter. Like there's people that will play your shit that just don't give a fuck. They like the song, they gonna play. I had a DJ tell me, I don't want no money from nobody. If I like the record, I'm gonna spin it. And that's what he did. He spent my record. I said, okay, cool. Mind you, I sent them probably like 4-5 different songs. He didn't play the other ones, but he played one of them. So I was like, all right, cool. That's what's up. So like, yeah, it's crazy, but I get accepted, but then in a sense, I don't. If that makes any sense.
Do you find yourself having to prove yourself? Like, despite this, I still have to prove that I'm worthy as an artist. Just accept me as an artist first.
Yeah, because it's like your song isn't old unless you make it old. You know, like I can have a record that I did 10 years ago, and somebody who never heard it can play that shit right now and be like, "Oh shit, I love it." Put the shit on TikTok and it can go viral tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? So times will change. It's different. Like you still have to do the footwork, but it's a lot of males in the game that don't show females love at all. Period. And it's lightweight weird. There's some that do show love. I got a lot of guy friends that are in the music industry. They show me love. It's all love. Anytime I see them, it's all good. But you know, you test people to see what's up when it's time to work. People be like, "Oh, I'm always working. That's why I always work with people that live out of state. So everybody was working with Pablo Skywalking. I worked with Pablo Skywalking the beginning of the quarantine. You know, I was working with him when he wasn't doing no videos. He just came out here and did like 10 videos with 10 artists and all that stuff, but he wasn't doing videos when I had first reached out to him. He is now though, but it's just I always work with people that if I enjoy their music or I like their style, I don't really care where they from, what, you know, none of that. If I like your aura, your creativity, I want to work with you. And it's harder to work with people from your hometown because everybody is a crab in a bucket.
Oh, speak on that about the Bay politics and just the whole.
Oh man,
why is it the areas? I know you can specifically speak on this probably too. I know I look at the South and just like how they all like help each other. And then the Bay.
I go to Atlanta, it's nothing but love. When I tell you, I go to Miami, it's nothing but love. I'm telling you, like it's a different vibe. That's why Young Thug just said, "Oh, 10 years from now, Atlanta's still gonna be number one." Why? Because everybody in Atlanta be working for real. And then on top of that, it's like you turn on the radio. If I come from the airport in Atlanta in my rental car, turn on the radio, everything on that radio, everybody on there from Atlanta. You might randomly hear a Drake song come on maybe once, but everything else is gonna be Migos, Gunna, Young Thug. It's gonna be T.I. Everybody from Atlanta is on that radio, and it's heavy. It's heavy. Anybody from the South, even Moneybagg Yo, heavy. You know what I'm saying? So the Bay Area don't have that. They, for some reason, it haven't clicked in their head. Like, damn, if we really work together and stop hating on each other and stop blackballing each other and stop being weird to each other, we can really make some money. But it's like, you have to get about your city to really flourish. Like, that's why I travel. I'll go to LA, you know, fuck with my partners out there that do music, that work at Capitol. I'll go to Atlanta, you know what I'm saying? Fuck with my people, New York, Seattle, wherever. I'll travel because I know that it's worth it. Here, everybody competing with each other. I'm not about to compete with somebody that is from my hometown. Like, you doing the same shit that I'm doing. And you're still here. Like, a lot of these cats, they don't even travel. And I'll be looking like, how do you not travel? How are y'all battling each other? And you know what I'm saying? And y'all ain't even, none of y'all have even been on an airplane before.
And then to see shows come here, what really pains me, and like not have any Bay Area artists on. Like, these concerts will come through and I'm like, folks take the sound, they take the style, and like not one artist from the Bay Area is on the whole bill. That's crazy.
And if they own it, it's because they paid to get on it.
Right.
And it, you know, a lot of times people do shit for the look. So people be like, even for example, I was just telling, I just had a conversation with my friend Ray Gifted Keys. Shout out to Ray. We had a conversation. I was like, hey, you know how people be like, oh, shout out to Complex magazine, shout out to Double XL, shout out to this and that. I'd be like, then people be paying, they pay for placements. They pay for those advertisements, but they'll get on, you know, the social media and be like, oh, I just want to thank DJ Academics for showing me love. He didn't show you love. You paid that man. You know, and that's just what it is. And people, the average person not gonna know that.
Right.
If you're not in the game, you're not gonna know that. You're gonna think, oh, everybody's showing them love. Nah. Why do you think these people getting hella streams? Some of these cats is paying for streams. You know what I'm saying? It's a formula, yeah, for shit. But if you have a squad behind you, if a big team behind you, especially if you have a label behind you, it's a little bit easier. But they getting your ass depending on what your contract is.
Right.
Like, even with Young Dolph, rest in peace to him. He was doing shit that a lot of these cats don't even think about. These fools don't think about, what am I gonna do after rap, or what am I gonna do during rap? This man had 100 properties, but these cats will spend money on chains, grills, everything, have rotten teeth under all of that shit, and don't even think about having something for their kids, their children's children. And that's where I'm at with it. I want to invest in other things. I invest in things right now, but it's like, it has to be more. You just can't do music. It just can't just be that. You know, you see artists, they do music, but they picked up the camera, so now they directing. You know, they doing photography. You know, they started a clothing line. Like, it's different shit. It's so many different avenues you can go. As long as you have money to invest in it, or an investor to invest in you, you can make other shit happen. And you can't just depend on one thing in this game. It's not logical. Like, you just can't be an artist. Like, Drake isn't just an artist. Like, he started off acting. I ain't seen him acting nothing else, because it's gonna cost a pretty penny just to get him in there, because it's gonna take off.
Somebody actually told me about 50 falling off. 50 don't ever have to make another record in life. You don't have to rap no more. What are you talking about?
50 Cent got in the game, and he knew the assignment. That man, he may be an asshole. He may be rude as fuck and crazy, but he's smart. And you have to be consistent. Like I said, you have to have that good solid team. I've always tried to have good solid teams behind me, but my focus and my plans for all of us, we weren't on the same page. I want everybody to win. I'm the nice person, you know what I'm saying? Everybody else like on some, if they not winning by themselves, they don't want to, they not gonna cheer you on. They not gonna, it's like I said, it's a crab in the barrel type of situation. If they not on, if they not winning, if they not the number one person, they don't care. They're not supporting you. It's free to repost my music. It's free to repost my clothing line, anything that I'm doing. But these cats be like, they only fuck with you when you get on. It takes strangers. I have strangers fuck with me harder than people that I probably went to school with.
I tell all entrepreneurs, 90% of your support gonna come from people you ain't never met before. That's gonna be the hardest, harsh reality you will face. You're gonna think all your cousins and uncles and aunties finna buy you.
They gonna want shit for free.
Right.
They gonna want shit for free. Like, oh, like, why are you asking me for free shit when you know I paid for this to have this happen? Like, are you crazy? You can't go get no free Jordans out of Sheiks.
Right.
You gotta cash out for them. And if you don't get them from a store, you get them from a shoe plug, you add another 150 on top of that 200 you already got.
Absolutely.
But don't penny pinch me. So that's why I had to understand and learn, like, you feel me? You create your own path. But it's also your choice of who's gonna walk with you on that path. Is it gonna be the right people or the wrong people? Like, I don't want to settle for anybody just because they've been there. Like, I've had people around that have been there for a long time. No, but they weren't good people. So I had to cut them loose. So usually when you see me, I'm gonna be, if I'm not like with my sisters or something out and about, I'll be by myself. Like, I don't really be associating with a lot of people because my love and my genuineness is different. I don't be with none of that fake stuff. It's just kind of weird to me. It's so weird to me. And people, I see artists too, they'll just like talk bad about an artist, but when they see him, oh, what's up, bro? I be like, what's up, bro, and this man? You just talking about he was boosty and you don't like none of his music. He got a ghostwriter. Like, that's the industry. That's why I sit back in the studio and I observe. Like, I don't even let people come to my sessions. Like, you're not gonna come to my session and just be in here and just smoking and just chilling and watching TV. No, I'm here to work. If you ain't here to lay no verse down, or if I didn't invite you just to come listen to shit, don't come.
So in other words, that's part of your creative process. It has to be something adding to the creative process.
Yeah, my creative process when I'm in the studio with Scotty, it's me and him. Mm-hmm. If I have somebody in there, they there because I fucks with them and they listening to my music and I'm getting constructive criticism from them, or even conversation pointers, whatever. But I don't have, like, I'm not finna have hella people with me. Like, even when you used to go to these shows and you see 100 dudes on the stage and you don't know who the rapper is because it's like so many people, you like, okay, who got the microphone? Like, what's going on? That's not gonna never be me. Mm-hmm. If I got people on stage with me, they better be dancing. And it ain't gonna be 100 of them. You know what I'm saying? Like, it gotta make sense. Like, I'm not gonna be that person that's gonna take care of 100 people. Mm-hmm. Why would I do that? Because those 100 people would never took care of me. Absolutely. It has to make sense. You know what I'm saying? I always give back to the community and, show my love and support, donations, whatever. But as far as the Bay goes, like, you can't expect people to really rock with you, in certain aspects. People may rock with you on some fake stuff, but I don't know. It's just, I don't depend on my hometown. Mm. Now, when things are different, like when I do big stuff, they're like, oh yeah, Bay Area's on. It's like, but you, what? Like, G-Eazy took off. Mind you, I didn't know who he was until I saw him in a music video with J-Ant. I know J-Ant. I didn't know G-Eazy. I'm like, who's this white boy with him? It was like J-Ant video featuring him. He wasn't known yet. soon as that boy took off, everybody in their mama, oh, he from the back. I'm like, oh, he from Berkeley like me. Okay, I remember him from JN video. But nobody's playing him on the radio. Nobody was fooling with him at all. I don't think nobody was supporting him unless it was just the people that he knew. But that's what it is. Once you take off, everybody like, oh, I know him. Oh, I know her. That's my friend. No, it's not. No, it's not.
What I love about your growth and why you've been able to, and tell me if I'm wrong, been able to sustain like constantly going upward is because it's so organic. I don't think that you're trying to do this fast forward to this thing. You're making sure you're dotting all your I's and crossing all your T's. You have business acumen. Tell us a little bit about the whole Empire LA Gear thing. You talked earlier about not just settling on having your hand in one thing. Tell us a little about that if you had liberty to talk about it.
Okay, well, LA Gear, I had talked to them about them being a sponsor, and I took it upon myself to take that leap of faith. I hit Slapmaster. Shout out to Slapmaster. I hit Scotty up. That's my engineer. I was like, look, I'm talking to LA Gear. They're like, yeah, let's get on a Zoom in 2 days. I'm like, okay, cool. Mind you, I'm telling them about a record that I could do for them. They're like, let's talk in 2 days. I'm like, 2 days? Oh shit. That means I gotta record the record like now. So I had to hit up. I'm like, Slapmaster, I need a beat. I'm like, Scotty, I need an hour. That's all I need. Because he didn't have no time. And at this time, this is when everybody was able to get back in the studio because he was able to book everybody now. And it was cool for everybody to go. He didn't have no time. I literally went to that studio at like 9 a.m. I'm like, please. Like, he don't even start at 9 a.m. So I went there, record the record. And then, like, I recorded the record at 9. The Zoom call was at 10:15. So I recorded it. Scotty mixed and mastered it. And by 10:15, we was on Zoom talking to LA Gear, the CEOs, the president, all of them, everybody. And so I'm like, all right, well, I got the record for you. They're like, oh, you got the record? I'm like, yeah, I made it. I just made it just now. Turn it on. Turned it on. Them people was dancing, all that. The dogs in the Zoom dancing. I was like, this is crazy. So that right now, we, in negotiations with the coins. Right. So I got the record, I got the jingle, all that, but we in negotiation with the coins. Things won't pop off until next year because like they're not gonna drop the new LA. That's like they're revamping LA Gear and doing new stuff.
And for my youngsters out there, this is not a new company. They MJ, and I ain't talking about Jordan.
Michael Jackson.
Right. I'm talking about a whole other MJ. So y'all do the research.
Michael Jackson wore LA Gear.
Yes.
So this is the era. This is like 80s, 90s era type thing. So I'm bringing them back. I'm trying to bring the light up shoes back and all that. So next year you'll see more. I'll be able to post more and say more about it. Right now I can just throw little stuff out there for them, but everything will be like announced next year. But as far as Empire goes, we in negotiations, we talking, but nothing's on paper. So it's just whatever happens. I mean, I've been talking to the head honchos up there. I work with a lot of producers that are up there now. I was working with them before they got their the production deal and stuff like that. So I'm associated with a lot of people. I've had people reach out to me that are managers and they have their own like companies and stuff. So like I said, I got my people out in LA. I've talked to them. They work at Capitol, which is in the same building as Motown with Amigos and all of them, all those imprints. So I'm one of those type of people. Like, I'm not the type to just jump at the first thing that comes to me. I like to sit on it and think about it and make sure that it makes sense for me. because I'm one of those type of people like back in the day, you can have an artist do a whole album and they'll shelve you.
Mm-hmm.
You're not finna play with me like that. Like, I'm gonna have all this in my contract. Like,
I'm glad you brought that up. I initially wanted to be an A&R eons ago, but that's a whole nother story.
Yeah,
I tell
me
my
too.
youngsters, do y'all know there's nothing in the contract that says they ever have to drop your album? There's nothing written there that
you have to have a lawyer. Like, I have an attorney. I have 2 attorneys. So, and then I have financial advisors and stuff. So anything that comes my way, they will be sitting at the table. Cause that's their job. Their job is to read all this shit, to see what's going on, see what's in the clauses, what's the loopholes, hold on, we're going to change that, critique that, fix that, add that, take this out. That's what their job was, because they getting a percentage of me. So when somebody is about their business and they know they need to get their coin, they're gonna make sure shit is right, because if not, they're not gonna get paid.
Right.
So that's why people always have to have attorneys and financial advisors and just people that know the business and know what they're doing, because you get a contract to a youngster right now, all they hear is the advance money. Oh, we'll give you 50 bands right now. If you giving me 50 bands right now, that means I'm probably gonna have to pay it back if it's an advance. Or if you're just saying, here, just 50 bands, like, I'm gonna be worth more than that. If you give me 50 bands, then I'm worth $500,000.
Right. Honestly, so, if they're willing to give you that, then that lets you know right there.
I'm worth more. And I'm gonna, all right, I'm talk to my people about this. I'll let you know. I got other offers. I'm gonna see what's going on. The best fit. Sometimes the most money isn't always the best fit either. People don't realize that either. I want the money to be right, but I also want my situation to be right as well. I want to make sure that everything is cool. So I'm like I said, I'm in talks with Empire. We've been talking for some months now. I probably say like 6 months, 7 months. We've been talking. So hopefully, stuff will get together. I know the passing of Young Dolph is, it's crazy right now. He was working with Empire too, and then, Big Von, King Von, Mo 3, you know what I'm saying? So like all that stuff is just, that's a part of politics too. Sometimes people will say, well, you might want to shy away from this because of this and that, but like, my destiny ain't got nothing to do with nobody else's destiny. And my plan is my plan. God's plan for me is God's plan for me. So I make my own decisions. I walk in my own path. So can't nobody tell me nothing about, what I want to do, But I do listen to my attorneys and stuff.
Well, on that note, I appreciate you so much, Young Shorty Doowop, for being on the Pachyderm Podcast.
Oh, man, thank you for having me.
I appreciate watching. I've been watching from afar and watching from up close, and I just really appreciate that everything you do is organic. You're like the definition of manifesting things, because like I said, different people have different beliefs, but I'm with you on that whole thing about God being involved, and that you always, man, you talking about recording a song an hour before a meeting. Like, for that to even be able to happen, what else would you even attribute that to? You just have a knack for being, you're definitely covered, because you always happen to be in the right place at the right time.
I really give everything to God and my mom and my best friend Lala. Like, they've always been there supporting me. My partner Soshi, like all my close immediate friends and family, like they all have been there, from the gate. And I can't walk any path anywhere without having God first, for real. Like, honestly, sometimes I'm like, how did this happen? Like, what's going on? What are you trying to tell me? But I just go with the flow, and I follow his lead, and that's what I'm